The morning started like any other. Coffee in my hand, papers on the kitchen counter, the faint hum of traffic outside. I thought it would be quiet, uneventful, a routine Monday. Then she said it. Out of nowhere. Clear, sharp, and unrelenting. I'm marrying someone else. Her words hit the room like a bomb. Silence swallowed us both. I didn't flinch. I didn't raise my voice. Some moments don't need shouting. They demand observation, calculation. She looked at me, waiting for a reaction, expecting some emotional collapse. She wanted me to crumble, to beg, to question her. But I was calm. I sipped my coffee, set it down gently, and said, "Go live with him then." That small sentence, casual on my lips, carried the weight of years we had spent together. Love, betrayal, arguments, compromises. The truth in those words was heavier than anger could ever be. Her face contorted in disbelief. Shock rippled through her eyes. She had rehearsed this confrontation 1,000 times in her mind, imagining the reaction she'd get, the excuses she'd anticipate. But reality didn't follow her script. I wasn't reacting. I wasn't pleading. I wasn't chasing. I simply let her claim her own chaos while I stood untouched, measured, unshaken. I remembered all the little things that had led to this. The whispered phone calls, the late nights, the small excuses that piled into a mountain of lies. I had seen the patterns, noticed the subtle changes, the perfume that wasn't mine, the sudden distant smile, the excuses for canceled plans. And I had done nothing then. Not because I didn't care, but because I had learned patience. Observation is power, and knowledge is a weapon sharper than any temper. The room felt smaller, the air thicker as she struggled to find words. I thought she stammered, trying to anchor me emotionally to make me sway, but I had already anchored myself in reality. My reality, my peace, my strength. She had assumed control, but control is an illusion when the other person refuses to play along. She paused, taking a deep breath, trying to regain composure. Her hands trembled slightly, betraying the confidence she had tried to project. "You don't understand," she said, her voice tight. "I'm happier with him. You're stuck in the past." I leaned back in my chair, watching her carefully. Happiness isn't something someone can declare over another person's life. It's earned, nurtured, and fragile when built on lies. I didn't interrupt. I didn't argue. I let her speak, each word another thread she unknowingly wove into the web of her own undoing. Months ago, I had quietly begun noticing the signs. A message here, a forgotten receipt there, a word that didn't fit the life we had promised each other. Each detail was recorded, catalogued, a meticulous map of a betrayal she thought she had hidden. I never confronted her then because confrontation without certainty is chaos. Patience is control, and control is a quiet kind of power. I reminded myself of the nights I spent alone, piecing together the fragments of truth, connecting the dots that no one else saw. The late-night whispers, the hurried excuses, the sudden absence of affection, it all made sense now. The pattern had been clear for months, but I let her believe she had the upper hand. Let her think she was untouchable, unstoppable, free to weave her fantasy of escape. And now, at this kitchen table, she expected me to react. She expected me to plead, to rage, to negotiate. Instead, I remained calm. "Go live with him then," I said again, slowly, deliberately. Those words were my boundary, my assertion of self-respect, my way of reclaiming control without confrontation. The power of silence, the weight of clarity, the quiet dignity of someone who sees the truth and refuses to be swayed by illusions. She sank into the chair opposite me, her eyes searching mine for a crack, a sign of weakness. There was none. The moment stretched, heavy and unyielding, until she realized she had nothing left to manipulate. I had already won the battle that mattered most, the one for my own peace. She finally spoke, voice barely above a whisper. Do you hate me?" I looked at her, really looked, and shook my head. Hate is heavy, and I carry no weight for someone who chose to reveal their true colors. I felt nothing but clarity, a serenity born from knowing exactly who she was and who I am. "You made your choice," I said calmly. "Live it. I'll live mine." Her lips parted in disbelief, searching for some hidden reaction, some plea, some fracture in my composure, but there was nothing. My world remained intact because I had built it on truth, not illusions. Later, she moved out, taking her new life with her, confident she had left a scar. But the only scars were the lessons she left behind, reminders of boundaries, respect, and the strength that comes from patience. I stayed, rebuilding the quiet peace that had been mine all along. In the silence, I realized something profound. Victory isn't in revenge. It isn't in proving them wrong or making them pay. True victory is living unshaken, honoring your own truth, and refusing to let someone else's choices dictate your happiness. And in that quiet I found freedom. The morning she dropped her bombshell ended not with chaos, but with clarity. And for the first time in months I smiled, not because she lost but because I had found myself.